Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to another class on readings in literature. So, in the past few classes, we have learned a few poems which are prescribed for you by Kerala University for your fourth semester general English paper. So, in today's class, we'll be discussing another wonderful poem, a beautiful poem by Nina Alexander. This poem is titled House of a Thousand Doors. So let's move on to discuss about our poet. She was a Malayali, born in Allahabad, raised in Kerala and Sudan. So we can definitely say that she's a displaced Malayali. She has lived in many places. And in her poetry also we can see the influence of different places, the multicultural raising which she had. So the statesman described her as undoubtedly one of the finest poets of contemporary times. Her poetry collections include Atmospheric Embroidery, Birthplace with Buried Stones, and the PEN Open Book Award winner Illiterate Heart. She has written many more poetry collections. So her main themes include migration, because she has migrated to other places, trauma, reconciliation, memories, which we can see in this poem we are learning, desire, identity, place, family, gender. So all these themes are found in her poems. And some of her novels are Manhattan Music and Nunpalli Road. And she's also known for her prose works, then the memoir, Fault Lines, the essay collections, Poetics of Dislocation. So in this also she says about displacement and dislocation, the act of the process of being forced to move out of a place for opportunities, for a betterment of life. Sometimes we have to move out of our birthplace or the place which we are more comfortable with. So this process is called dislocation, being located elsewhere. So she discusses about that in the Poetics of Dislocation, and the shock of arrival, reflections on post-colonial experience. So post-colonialism is another theme which is frequently found in her works. And she has also published certain critical studies like Women in Romanticism, Mary Wollstonecraft, Dorothy Wordsworth, and Mary Shelley, and the poetic self towards a phenomenology of romanticism. Let's now move on to read our poem. House of a Thousand Doors. This house has 1,000 doors. The sills are cut in bronze, 3 feet high, to keep out snakes, toads, water rats that shimmer in the bold reeds at twilight as the sun burns down to the Kerala coast. The roof is tiled in red, pitched with a silver lightning rod, a pro, set out from Land's End, bound nowhere. In dreams, waves lilt, a silken fan in grandmother's hands, shell colored, utterly bare as the light takes her. She kneels at each of the 1,000 doors in turn, paying her dues. Her debt is endless. I hear the flute played in darkness, a bride's music. A poor forked thing. I watch her kneel in all my lifetime, imploring the household gods who will not let her in. Now let's go to an analysis and discussion about this poem, House of a Thousand Doors. So this can be said to be a dream poem. So it has a dream-like quality. We can see that the poet remembers about certain memories from her childhood or early childhood, memories about a certain ancestral house in Kerala. Maybe she has spent a few years, time and again during her childhood in this particular house. And these memories are fused with her thoughts about the colonial influences in India. She thinks about the political scenario of India after colonialism. And also, she thinks about gender discrimination found in the country, how men and women are treated in different ways in the country. So, this poem definitely has a dream-like quality. We see certain images that come as if they are coming out of a dream, memories from her past, early childhood, and all. So, all these memories are fused with some thoughts which may have developed as she grew up into an adult. So, first of all, in the first few lines, she first of all says about this house. The peculiarity of this house she is mentioning is that this house has 1,000 doors, not just one or two doors, it has 1,000 doors. So Meena Alexander paints a picture at the outset of the poem. She evokes memories about her ancestral house in Kerala. She remembers first that the house has 1,000 rolls. So this is actually pretty symbolical. It represents this house she mentions in the first line actually represents the country India. Because at the time of independence and soon after, India had its borders opened to foreign influences. Even before independence, India was welcoming of foreigners, their culture, influence, and thereby exploiters. The people, the foreigners who came to India came with the intention of plundering the land and its resources. Also, India is a multicultural country. It has an openness to welcome foreign influences, cultures, and sweeping changes from multiple sources. This openness is symbolized using um, this house with 1,000 doors. So this 1,000 doors can also mean opportunities. India is a land of opportunities. It is a developing country. If one is willing to work hard, India will provide a lot of opportunities for him or her. Now, then in the next few lines, she remembers the window sills in this house. The window sills are, in Malayalam, you would say it, Janal Padi. So sills are a place where you can sit. It's a it's like a narrow seat. You can sit by the window and look out of the house. She remembers about the window sills, and she remembers that the window sills, uh, the rods are cut in bronze, and the sills are located at 3 feet high. Why is it located at 3 feet high? It is to keep out all kinds of animals that can come into the house, like snakes, toads, water rats, etc. And sitting at the windowsill, you can look out of the house and see the reeds and grass and all growing out in a Kerala landscape. So at twilight, as the sun comes up, at sunrise, there is a chance of all kinds of wild things to creep into the house. So that is why the windows are located at 3 feet high in a Kerala house. At least in the house she remembers. Here she also paints a picture of sunrise in the Kerala coast. As the sun comes up on the Kerala coast, it's beautifully breathtaking as it burns down the Kerala coast in golden light. So she vividly remembers the window sills of the house. Look at this. So the sills are cut in bronze, 3 feet high. And why is she mentioning bronze in particular? Bronze is a metal which is it's an alloy. It's a mix of different metals. So bronze stands for amalgamation of various cultures in India. India has cultural amalgamation from different sources. So bronze symbolizes that. So why is the window being placed 3 feet high? That is also symbolical. While India is open to foreign influences and cultures, it shows that openness. Within Indian culture, there are certain reservations because there are certain practices of the land. Caste-based segregation is practiced in India. Um, lower caste people are treated with disdain, and they are kept reasonably away from upper caste so that they could avoid defiling of the upper caste, so that upper caste won't be polluted with caste mixing and all. So the window placed 3 feet high is actually segregating the house from mixing with people of other castes. So that is actually a symbolical reference here. So the windowsill itself. So the windowsill is located inside a room. So this is often a female space. In old movies and all, we see women sitting at windowsills and looking out of the house. So women, they are often confined to the bounds of the walls of the house. So the opportunity of viewing the delights of the outside world is only through an open window. They are mostly never allowed to step out of the house, even nowadays. This happens in some households. So it's actually a trap. So the only vision they get of the outside world may be through the windowsill, sitting at the windowsill, enjoying a view out of their house. So that's an exaggeration, but you can say that that's a female space. That might be why Meena Alexander is talking about windowsills. So there is a reference to snakes, toads, and water rats. So snake reference might be like sorry, Meena Alexander is a member of the diaspora community. So she has grown up in different countries. She has lived in different countries in the West, in Africa, and all. In all these places, India was still considered as a land of snake charmers and rope climbers. As an Indian, she might have felt the need to justify to them that this was long in the past. It's actually a colonial picture of India as a land of snake charmers and rope climbers. So the snake reference provided here might be to make fun of the Western concept of India as a land of snake charmers and rope climbers. Then again, in that stanza itself, there is the picture of sun burning down the Kerala coast, which is vividly, breathtakingly beautiful. Now she remembers about the structure of her ancestral house. This is actually a typical Kerala house. The tiles are red in color. You know, ഓടിട്ട വീട്, ചുവന്ന ഓടിട്ട വീട്. So the tiles are red, and there is even a silver lightning rod on top of the house. It is pointing up. We don't actually know where exactly the lightning rod is pointed. There is a like a metal rod on top of the house. It is pointing up to nowhere. That is what is mentioned in the poem. So here you can see the roof is tiled in red, pitched with a silver lightning rod, a pro set out from land's end, bound nowhere. So this reference, the direction to nowhere, this actually signifies a lack of hope. This could be thought of with reference to the plight of women in India. So there is a lack of hope because for generations, certain customs and practices are going on in the country, which is actually limiting the women population in one way or the other. Again, we can see this particular reference to nowhere in a different way. Meena Alexander is a displaced Malayali. She has lived in different parts of the world. In all these different places, she might have felt a sense of homelessness. Maybe when she was living abroad, she was treated as an Indian. But when she comes to India, she was treated as someone who lives abroad. So she is someone who belongs to she does not belong to any particular place. So that sense of homelessness, that sense of not belonging to any particular place, that might be why nowhere is mentioned here too. At this point in the poem, a dream-like vision is presented. Now, in her dreams, she actually sees ways waves lifting a silken fan in grandmother's hands. This is a shell colored fan, a hand fan. ഒരു കയ്യിൽ ഒരു വിഷറി ആയിട്ട് ഒരു അമ്മുമ്മ നിൽക്കുന്നത് കാണുന്നു. ആ വിഷറിയുടെ കാറ്റും കാര്യങ്ങളും എല്ലാം കാണുന്നുണ്ട്. So again, so this is a dreamlike vision. She witnesses waves lifting a silk fan in her grandmother's hand. So this particular grandmother the poem is creating, this is actually a combination of her maternal grandmother and paternal grandmother. Meena Alexander's maternal grandmother, Kunyu, was actually very politically active. Whereas her paternal grandmother, Mariamma, was a domestic bound woman. So we see a combination of these two old women in the grandmother she creates in this poem. So the wise grandmother referenced here, it suggests the lives of women from the past to present. Even from the past, women's plights were like this. So it also suggests a lost old world charm with a dream-like quality. Now in the dream, her grandmother is holding a hand fan, and suddenly the light is getting more and more intense in the dream. Finally, her grandmother's image becomes bare. So it reveals the naked truth about women. So women are supposedly protected by men within the boundaries of the home. But in fact, the protection itself is a trap. It's a trap to limit women's movement out of the household. So she is actually an undocumented slave who is supposed to slave away for the household. So in these lines, Meena Alexander is talking about the patriarchal setup of the country, which limits the woman in the disguise of protecting her. So after the dream image of her grandmother with a fan is presented, Meena Alexander shows another image. Now this is a disturbing image. So in this image, she sees her grandmother kneeling at each of the 1,000 doors in turn, paying her dues. So she sees the grandmother image. At first she said that the house has 1,000 doors. Now she sees her grandmother kneeling and begging for each of these doors to open. At this point, the grandmother, the woman, the old woman, has paid all her dues. Being a woman in India, she has a lot of duties and debts which are endless. So even after performing each of these duties very faithfully, the 1,000 opportunities, 1,000 doors of opportunities in India, they don't open for an Indian woman. And at this point, Meena Alexander also presents an auditory image. We hear the sound of a flute playing in darkness. It actually suggests a wedding song. It is presented as a bride's music here. So first we saw the image of an old grandmother. Now this image is juxtaposed with the image of a young bride. It is set against ritualistic music, a wedding song. So this particular juxtaposition, two images placed side by side, an old grandmother and a young woman. This suggests the various stages of the life of a woman. So a woman has to serve the family throughout her life in various roles. She has to be a daughter, then a bride, a young woman, a wife, a young mother. She has to be the nurturer, the protector, and finally, in her old age also, she has to perform certain duties. But even after performing all these duties very faithfully, the door of opportunities, it's still closed to her. Now the poet Meena Alexander here addresses the woman as a poor forked thing. Let's look at these lines here. A poor forked thing, I watch her kneel in all my lifetime, imploring the household gods who will not let her in. So in this part, the poet addresses the woman as a poor forked thing. Now we are presented with two roles of the woman, two images of the woman as a young bride and an old grandmother. So this signifies it's like a fork with two prongs. So the woman has the roles of a mother and a daughter, the protector and the protected, the old and the young. She, however, is bound forever by duty. At every age, she has to uphold certain values. She is forced to uphold certain values. As in India and some places else in the world, a family's honor is tied to a woman's morality. So that is actually a trap indeed. It doesn't let the woman have a life of her own. So now Meena Alexander is an outsider. She has somewhat escaped the system, being a member of the diaspora community living abroad. But there also she doesn't have that much of an identity or a sense of belonging. Now, as an outsider, the poet has observed the plight of women in this country. She knows that there are 1,000 opportunities for people in this country. But women, as they kneel before the patriarchs, they implore the household gods. You have to notice that gods, the G is actually in small letters here. That means that the god is not the supreme god, a divine god. It's actually household gods, meaning men. So the women, even after performing all their duties faithfully, they are begging the men for a chance for agency and authority. But they are denied time and again since the start of time. So Meena Alexander has seen women beg uh, for opportunities, but in their lifetimes, they never come across opportunities. Let's look at the main themes in this short poem. Even though it's a short poem, it's laden with meaning. There are multiple layers of meaning. We can see it from different angles. First of all, we can see it from the angle of patriarchy and the boundaries it establishes on women. Even after performing their duties, they are denied opportunities for agency. We can also see it from the angle of post colonial India. India, with its open doors, its welcoming of any changes, different cultures, and different influences. So, that we can say. And then another important theme is memory. We can see the poet bringing out her remembrances, her reminiscences of her ancestral house and its structure, and she fuses these memories with her thoughts as a grown up. Another theme is a displacement, the sense of not belonging to any place. It is felt by the diaspora community and their constant yearning for belongingness, for home. And another theme is the multiple identity of women, the various roles women have to perform in a household in India. So these are the various themes that are discussed throughout this short poem, which is laden with meaning. So that brings us to the end of the discussion about this poem, House with 1,000 Doors. So I hope you have benefited from this discussion. Please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye.